Hello, Scream Hearts.
What's up, Hellions?
It's STEPH Infection here with
ANNAHELLE.
So welcome to another episode of Ghoul Talk. What are we talking about tonight, ANNAHELLE?
Let's go with a little bit of monster love. And in honor of that, I've worn my infamous Monsters of Horror Punk. Can you see it?
I see it.
Little Dickie versus Nikki action. Is that still available on our...
Yeah, I have to actually, yep, it's going to be, there are limited sizes, and you have to actually go to Astro Monster Records, that big cartel.
Oh, perfect. We'll just link for everybody.
There are limited sizes, so get on that, because once they're gone.
Yeah, I know. I did the pre-order. I was so excited for it, and the bundle was awesome. Got the digital download, the CDs, the stickers, the magnets. It was killer. It was killer.
We have more of them. We have, it's 11 by 17 poster.
Oh yeah,
One blank one, and you also get one that's signed by both bands, 5 Cent Freak Show and Dickie Devil and the Deviants. So you got to get on that.
What are you wearing tonight, Steph?
My shirt's not as cool, but you know, monster love. I had to give my love never ends. Morticia is one of my favorites, and she's just so, she's the queen, and Gomez just, you know,
treats her as such.
Yeah. It's just one of my favorite monster couples, you know.
So Monster Love, for all intents and purposes, we're looking at some films from across, you know, the decade of horror, some sci-fi. We're looking at dude monsters and lady humans. And this is a pretty classic trope. You see it in a lot of films, comics, books. I don't even know. Tons of stuff.
Yeah, it's more common. It's more common than the opposite.
Let's start it off with that penultimate classic King Kong. I'm talking about 1933, the, you know, original movie. Fay Wray is Ann Darrow, obviously sung about in Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like she's a cinematic icon. King Kong has been remade. Obviously we have Godzilla versus King Kong coming out.
Very excited.
This month. And there's that line that everybody knows, it was Beauty Killed the Beast. So King Kong is this monstrous, obviously male king of the apes of this like island, and they end up in New York, and he takes her, and everybody remembers, climbs the Empire State Building, and there's a classic like shootout.
Yes. When it comes to like King Kong, I obviously, I would definitely, this belongs in our categories of monster love. I never looked at it like they were both intimately in love with each other, but it was just like he was misunderstood.
Yeah, there's that underlying tone, and he like saves her. And even if you look in the 1976 Jessica Lange, this is like her film debut, and obviously she's a golden goddess. Like she's phenomenal.
Favorite people ever.
She's phenomenal. She's an activist. She's
I don't look at, I know there's always that clip that people show, and he does take off her you know, blouse, like top a little bit. But I looked at it as, and when I was watching, and maybe I looked at it too innocently, but I was like, he just is so into her that he's trying to like explore her and see. And then there was a side of me that was like, he really thinks he could get intimate with her. So if this was a man stroking your face and touching would you think anything differently? She might have been into it, but he's a big gorilla. So
next up on our monster love list, we have The Creature from the Black Lagoon, 1954. And this whole water monster human lady has obviously spurned other stories, TV shows, comics. Swamp Thing comes to mind. As they try to go after, you know, the creature, he continually tries to get Kay, ends up abducting her. And so there's this whole, again, similar to King Kong, sees this beauty and, you know, clearly being primitive compared to the male leads in the film, goes after her for whatever nefarious or primitive purpose.
Yeah, he's just like smitten. I almost feel like it's like he's smitten by just like needs to know more of this beauty, and he's never seen anything like that before. So I don't think too much into the whole like, you know, taking her. Obviously it's a movie, it's a creature that's not real. We're not going to look too much into it, but takes her and takes her down, and it's like he wants to keep her because it's like beautiful to him, you know. And I understand this, like to look at it the reverse way, men with mermaids, it's like the same type of thing, although these creatures of the lagoon or the water, you know, the male ones are not that attractive.
Why is that?
I don't know.
What? Well, you know what? On that point, Steph, we do have The Shape of Water from 2017, where the main character, or the female lead, she is mute, and she's, you know, working in this underground facility, and they find the water creature, and she ends up, you know, she's totally discarded and abused by all these other humans, and ends up building an empathetic relationship to where this water creature, you know, saves her life.
It's cool to think that we're seeing a connection with any creature that is human-like. Now we're off the King Kong thing because that's totally different, but the creature of the Black Lagoon, now we're getting into a tier where they're starting to look more human-like,
and they're the same scale, like obviously King Kong. Yeah. So it's like
more relatable. And with our next ones, you know, we get even more relatable with humans and monsters. So
next on the list of monster love, The Fly, 1986, classic, Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis.
Love Gina Davis.
Right? Love young Jeff Goldblum. He's a total mood. Obviously, we're talking about The Fly, total monster love. Jeff Goldblum is Seth. He's the scientist trying to make the telepods. I think they actually call them telepods. So he's teleporting. He can do inanimate matter. He hasn't tried like humans yet. Gina Davis is a scientific journalist. He gives her exclusive rights to the story. And as he's working and she's working and recording, they develop a relationship over time. It's pretty serious. You know, he does the infamous experiment where he teleports himself and the fly's in the pod, and over time he starts transforming, and Gina Davis has to watch this, and it's horrific and, you know, emotional, and she ends up carrying their baby, and he wants to do a whole experiment to turn himself human with the unborn baby, and she ends up having to put him out of his damn misery with a shotgun. So actually I think that's a full
There's a movie
of love. It goes from like, you know, working relationship, real relationship, put them out of their fucking misery with a shotgun. Like, yeah,
it's a good little monster love story.
Next up, we have Hellraiser, 1987. Frank, obviously, I'm sure a lot of us remember this, gets a puzzle box, goes to hell, blah, 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 skin flay. But then there's Julia, who's married to his brother Larry. Classic love triangle. What? Julia had the affair with Frank before their wedding. Everybody's caught up? Okay, cool. So Frank comes back, and Julia's still obsessed with him. Like, you know, that will happen. And
that'll happen.
That'll happen. Well, and the whole thing too is like, so it's 1987, you know, Larry is like gray and mundane, and he's no fun, and Frank was like this fiery, hot, awesome sex that Julia had. So obviously good sex is a hooking device.
A lot of brownie points with that sex.
it keeps going on, and Frank uses her to, his ends, and ultimately stabs her. Or like he like and Julia thinks if he's flesh incarnate again, they're gonna have amazing sex, and it's just like, I get it. I've been motivated by that. I've been motivated.
Yeah, me too. So what's next on our list, Annahelle?
Our final monster love examination is the Twilight franchise.
Okay, so
very, very big thing.
This is a big thing, especially in our generation and younger. It may not be, people may say, oh, that's not like a classic monster love, Twilight. Oh, it's silly.
I will say, no, I love, like you said, like it's the classic vampire and human, classic werewolf and human. Like these are tales, like what was the Beast in Beauty and the Beast? These are tales as old as time.
The thing with Twilight is geared towards a more sensitive person or a female, somebody, that loves love and loves it, because you're from Bella's point of view, the girl's point of view. So that is why I'm saying it's more of like a female point of view. And she meets this boy, and the whole movie, so we do get that like love triangle, but you do have her, she's kind of just like, what's this guy Edward about in high school? And they become very connected before she finds out that he is a vampire. Then she finds out. She also has this friend, Jacob, who's just a family friend. So he's Native American. He lives on a reserve, goes to school on the reserve, so he doesn't go to the same high school. And their dads are friends. And the whole story is that his tribe has come from wolves. That's how they like evolved from wolves. But the actual storyline, and I don't care who makes fun of me for this or anything, it is a great story, because you have this family. It's almost like a modern day vampires trying to live in our world.
That's what it was, though. Yeah, they're trying to like fit in, right?
Yeah, so you do get this, she falls in love with Edward, and then, he doesn't want to hurt her, so he ends up leaving, and she gets real close with Jacob. But it's more just like a friend. They do kiss, and it's flirty, but and so this whole Team Jacob and Team Edward thing happened.
Oh, yeah.
But the whole time like she was always meant to be with Edward, and it was kind of like a soulmate thing, which he has been eternally 16 since like the 1920s, and this is like in the 2000 something. So it was kind of
16 for like 100 years.
Yeah. So it was like he was waiting, and he finally met his soulmate, and you see all these stories, and they're all living together, and it's great. But then there's other vampires that you battle. I just like this movie so much because as a woman, I don't know, it's one of those movies, just like Saving Private Ryan or something like that. Like anytime it's on TV, I'm like,
yeah.
I'm watching it.
That's a huge thing I've noticed, like throughout all of our videos and other videos. Like a big thing about a quote unquote good movie is rewatchability. Like, is it on, if it's on cable, if it's on like, no, I'm not changing the channel. I don't.
This is the honest to God truth. Do you know how many times I've seen Twilight? Can't even tell you. Anytime I can't even tell you. Anytime I see it on TV, I hit record. If it's Bella and Edward getting married, and her one thing, and especially being a PG-13 kind of movie, I was like,
oh yeah, I forgot it was like PG-13. Yeah,
I was surprised that they said this, but she was like, I want to feel you as a human. And that was their deal. Like the whole entire wedding, Jacob gets mad because he's like, you're not going to have sex on your wedding night. And she's like, you're not going to have a real honeymoon. And he's like, she's like, yes, I am. And he's like, you'll kill her. Like, and we all know they mean like, he's going to kill her while they have sex because he's a vampire and he is very powerful. See them finally have sex for the first time. And she's like,
feels like the first.
she is just like, that was the best night ever. The things are broken. There's feathers from the pillows everywhere. Everything's broken because he was holding back, obviously, because he could kill anyone with just like
I'm a little into this.
touch
I'm
of a
not gonna
pinky.
lie. I'm so into this.
So when they're having sex,
Yeah,
like he grabs the bedpost and breaks it, and
I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna watch.
really good. And the next day she wakes up and she's looking in the mirror and she's thinking about it, and she's still mortal, and she's like, oh my God, that was the best ever. And he comes in like,
How much sex has she had? She's like 17.
so this is the first time she had sex on a honeymoon. And
She has no basis, to quote the Goblin King, she has no basis for comparison.
okay, so since we are talking about monster love on our Ghoul Talk episode, I just want to remind everyone, you only have until March 28th to pre-order your Boo Love tank tops. Boo Love Never Dies with Dickie Devil and STEPH Infection. So get on to horrorpunksusa.bigcartel.com and get those tanks. You don't even need to know us. Just get those tanks because it is such a cool, it's such a cool little piece of art that says Boo Love Never Dies. So go check it out. Order one. There's men and
link
women.
below. Link below.
below. All right. Boo Love Never Dies.
Well, that was episode 1 of Monster Love. You know, we have so much more content to talk about on this subject. This is going to be so much fun for Ghoul Talk, as always.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in, Scream Hearts. We had so much fun with you talking about Monster Love. And check out our other episodes of Ghoul Talk and all the other episodes on HPUSA TV.
Make sure you subscribe, hit like, comment, share, whatever you got, and definitely below, join the HPUSA TV horror, music, and movies Facebook group where the conversation is continuously going. Share your ideas on the subjects. Let's have some fun.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Scream Hearts.
We'll see you soon, Hellion!